Trib Live High School Sports Network is the official video and audio streaming partner of the WPIAL. We broadcast over 2,000 sporting events each year and cover 17 sports in over 170 schools. At HSSN, you'll find the latest in high school sports news, live and archive broadcasts, scores, standings, and much more. Trib Live High School Sports Network, your high school sports leader. All season, every season.
This is the Lawrence County SportsNet, powered by LCAT. Your home for the County of Champions.
Has a throw to first, and that's your ball game. Union has won its first ever WPIAL championship.
There it is. Champions, the Static Lancers.
Strike three. The Union Scotties, golden once again.
One gold, not enough. How about 2 district gold and 2 state gold for the Lady Lancers?
The top local athletes and the top sports moments all featured here, live or archived at lcsportsnet.com.
9 seconds. Anderson into the corner. It's poised for three. Shot! Take time.
Look to throw again. Directing traffic. Going for the quarterback in the end zone. Touchdown!
Featuring over 100 broadcasts of county events in over a dozen sports. Your voice for Lawrence County sports.
The gold ball headed home to Newcastle.
This is the Lawrence County SportsNet.
Coming to you live from the Nika High Fieldhouse for PIAA Class 6A first round playoff action here on the Lawrence County SportsNet, powered by LCAP. This afternoon, the number 2 team from District 7, the Newcastle Red Hurricane, hosting the District 10 champion Erie High Royals. Today's broadcast at lcsportsnet.com and the Trib Live High School Sports Network, brought to you in part by Maley Chiropractic, by Castle Asphalt, by Luxembourg Garbett, Kelly and George, by Medora Bonner Law, by the Red Zone, by Pontius Insurance, by the Crane Room Grill, by Penn Ohio Bottled Water, by Health and Motion Physical Therapy, by the Lawrence County Child and Youth Services, by Works in Progress Paint Services, the Tri-County Principals Association, and the Lawrence County Community Action Partnership. Pleasant good afternoon here from Newcastle, hosting one final time here in the 2023 season. I'm James Dotson, and we had to bring in the legend himself, Sir Don Rebel, making his first trip to the Nika High Fieldhouse for a Newcastle game. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That's incredible.
We sat down, myself and Mike White of the Post-Gazette a few years ago, and we've been doing this long enough, so we started writing down the schools that we've never been to, and this was one of them. And so on my quote-unquote bucket list of schools I needed to get to, this is one of the last couple now. It was the last one until the Propel schools invaded the WPIAL. So there's still Braddock Hills and Montour still unaccounted for. But, you know, this is such a historic place and what great success this local basketball team has had. So it's sort of a shame that I haven't been able to get a chance to come up here. But I appreciate your invite, and it's a pleasure to be here on this Saturday afternoon to open up the state playoff.
Oh, absolutely, Don, and that's the pleasure is all ours. We've been trying to make this happen for the last few years, and I went back through my records. I don't know if you remember this, but 4 years ago, you had scheduled to come up for a baseball game at Flaherty Field between Newcastle and Blackhawk, and then at the 10th hour it got moved because of rain to Neshannock. And I remember that frustration 4 years ago of you thinking that you had finally ticked one off of your bucket list, but we finally made it here.
Yeah, it's funny because only about 4 years before that, our dear friend Mark Schoss, the late great, was supposed, again, he was pushing for this venue to be one of my broadcast sites, and not this venue. It was a baseball game, and right before I was about to leave the Pittsburgh area to come up north, he called and said it was rained out as well. So I mean, we've tried a couple times. Glad to finally be here for what should be a very exciting basketball game.
Yeah, I'm glad you can be here too, considering 23 games last night were postponed across the state in the playoffs. But we're off and running here, and yes, Don, this should be a pretty good one. Newcastle at 22-3 overall, Erie with a 16-9 record. A little bit deceiving though when you look at the fact that 2 of those losses are Erie McDowell, but then they defeated McDowell in a District 10 championship. And not many teams can say that they can beat Alderdice twice in the same season. I think that speaks volumes right there.
Yeah, it was a pretty good Dragons team that won the Pittsburgh City League championship, and the Royals knocked off the Dragons not only in the regular season, winning by 10, but in the play-in bracket, they defeated Alderdice up in Erie 62-58. They finished second in that play-in bracket after that win against Alderdice, losing to really what could be the best 6A West team, 6A team in the western half of the bracket. That's that State College team that really has been raising eyebrows. Not even close. State College beating up Erie the last time the Royals took the floor, 73-41. So both these teams come into this game, James, really having to shake that bad taste of a recent loss out of their mouth.
Yeah, and I think you say it right there with that State College victory, how big that one was. But especially looking at this Erie team, Coach Blundo compared them to Aliquippa, and as we watch them in the warm-ups, yes, very similar, very, very wide, very long, very athletic all the way across. And this is going to be a team that is never out of a ball game. In that Taylor Alderdice victory, they were down by 17 in the second half, came back and won that game. So you can never count out this Erie High Royals program.
Yeah, they've had success in their short stint as a program. Excuse me. They have, one of the big stories I mentioned in our What to Watch For on our website, the Trib Live High School Sports Network website, was the last time they were in a state playoff game 2 years ago. It was the champions only bracket, so it was a smaller field. Quarterfinals, which was the first state playoff game, they came south to Upper St. Clair High School and played what was a very depleted WPIAL champion Panthers team. That was the time that they had a spread of COVID hit, and not only knocked out Danny Holzer, their head coach, knocked out the 3 of his assistants, and all but 6 players. And Erie came down, and Upper St. Clair beat them in what I thought was one of the great stories 2 years ago in all high school sports in southwestern Pennsylvania. But so this team definitely wants to wipe that bad memory from their resume, and could do so if they can come here to Newcastle and beat the Canes.
Well, they won't face the Upper St. Clair 6, but it's likely going to be the Newcastle 6, as Coach Blundo has not gone deep into his bench here in the postseason run. We'll talk a little bit about that. Let's take a break here on our LGKG pregame show, though, Don. We'll be back in a moment on the Lawrence County SportsNet and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Cold winds blowing, Temperatures dropping and snow is beginning to fall. And then your furnace goes out. LCAP's LIHEAP Crisis Program is here to help. If your furnace is blowing cold air, not turning on, or not reaching the desired temperature, help is right around the corner, whether it needs fixed or replaced. For information, call the Department of Healthy Homes at 724-656-0090. LCAP's Healthy Home programs are the key to safer living.
For 20 years, Melee Chiropractic has treated athletes of all ages to help them get safely back to the top of their game. Melee Chiropractic has 3 full-time doctors in their office, and all 3 are former area athletes who have had to battle injuries throughout their careers. They want to help you get safely back on your feet. But more importantly, help stop the injuries before they happen. Prehab before you rehab. Attention all high school students. During your sports season, a $25 visit to the Melee Chiropractic office includes an adjustment and/or all therapies necessary. From the athletes of tomorrow to the weekend warriors and everything in between, let Melee Chiropractic keep you in the game.
Is driven to provide quality, cost-efficient pavement-related services to Western Pennsylvania. Every paving or construction service at Castle Asphalt begins with a thorough site inspection of the area to allow their team of professionals to become familiar with the unique conditions of your home or business. Once the site inspection is complete, Castle Asphalt provides you with a detailed plan of the design, cost, materials, and time of completion, so you know exactly what to expect during your construction. Visit castleasphalt.com to request a quote for your next project and make your dream design come to fruition.
Contractors, the Department of Healthy Homes needs you. From small to large residential projects, you do. It's rewarding in more ways than one. Call LCAP's Department of Healthy Homes today.
For more than 120 years, people have relied on Martindale Hubbell's preeminent rating to select their attorneys. If you've been involved in an automobile accident, you should do the same. At LGKG, we have been preeminently rated for over 40 years.
The Nika High Fieldhouse one final time for Newcastle. High School Royals have only been in effect for 6 seasons after the merger of Strong Vincent and East High and Central Tech. Now Strong Vincent and East High are middle schools, and Central Tech the main high school there for Erie in Class 6A. Coach Tom Koval has been there the entire time. Don, last time that we saw before the merger, Strong Vincent played against this Newcastle team on the road to Hershey, ended up making it to the state championship game that year, but played in 52 games. The rest of the Erie High School, Central Tech played twice, Erie Central played 4 times, and now Erie High just won. So inexperience in the state playoffs relative to what you see with Newcastle, a team that has played over 70 times, but all that means nothing. When
you're right, but when you use the term experience, maybe not what past teams have done, but look at the experience on Ralph Blundo's bench. They have great senior leadership. It'll be emotional. This will be, no question now, their final game here at the Fieldhouse for these players that have had so much success in their tenure here at Newcastle's, the Youngs, the Boyces, the Andersons. So how they come out. Emotion can carry different ways. It can cause nerves, and maybe you're not as smooth or as taut as you're used to playing, but it can also provide excitement and really take you to another level of play. So I think that's why we see so many times on this stage, the PIAA playoffs, a lot of games that are one-sided, and you're saying, well, how can that be? These are the best of the best, and part of that, I think, is the experience. We've been here before. I mean, this Newcastle team a year ago, all the way to Hershey, before they bowed out in the championship game. So, again, there's that tangible experience of what has happened lately, and that, program experience, what has happened over the years.
And talking about some of the seniors especially, we've seen Isaiah Boyce and Jonathan Anderson grow up over the last 4 years, but especially Isaiah Boyce misses about 3 weeks there in the middle of the season, in that heart of the season. If he doesn't miss those 7 games in that time stretch, you're probably talking about the Newcastle all-time and Lawrence County all-time three-point record holder. I mean, he still technically has a chance to do so. He'd have to average about 7 or 8 per game the rest of the way through, which the way he shoots, it could happen at any time. But, he got injured in the Butler game. The very next game against Central Catholic is their loss. They fight through and win a couple of big section matchups before he gets back on the court in the rematch against Butler less than a month later. So the Isaiah Boyce factor, I think, is key because when he's shooting, it's not just that, though. He opens up avenues for others to drive because you have to respect him on the perimeter.
22-3, and 2 of their losses came when Boyce was absent. You mentioned the Central Catholic regular season loss. They also lost to Mars in a non-section game at Westminster College. So really the loss to Central in the WPIAL championship game, the only one the Canes have dropped with number 5 in uniform and playing.
That, again, you look at the fact you have Dejon Young as a 6'2" player, the only one that is over 6 feet tall, and you're going to have a starting lineup on the other side that is going to be at 6'4", 5'9", and 5'10", but another 6'4" and a 6'5". Again, you have the height to deal with, and they struggled at times in especially that Central Catholic, both Central Catholic games.
They got height. Erie has height, but it's different height than what I think Central Catholic had. We made a note before we went on the air here about how they have size, but they're very thin. So, you can get around that size by being a little more physical underneath. Just got to be careful because of the lack of depth. You can't be giving away fouls.
If you want to put it in comparison, they're not Oscar Shibway or Dababa Shibway style. It's more of a Alaire Maloke style in terms of the body shape for some of these, especially younger players, sophomores and juniors. We're going to step aside one more time. We'll come back with starting lineups when we return. Newcastle and Erie in the state opening round here on the Lawrence County SportsNet.
When it comes to protecting those you love, the businesses you've built, or the things you've earned, you need someone you can trust. Who better to protect your interests than a local insurance agent? Pontius Insurance is a team of local agents helping local residents in Lawrence County and surrounding areas, specializing in auto, home, business, and life insurance. Come see Dan Pontius, Jessica Weiland, Tracy Giddings, and the rest of the team at Pontius Insurance and receive the personalized service you deserve.
In workers' compensation, my clients are oftentimes not receiving their wage loss. They're not receiving their medical expenses. LGKG, they come to us so that we can put them in a position to pay their bills. If we're keeping our promises, our clients are getting the justice they deserve.
Whether you're hosting a big party, it's family dinner night, or you just need a place to go and watch the big game, the Crane Room Grill is the place to be. Need that something special for your upcoming event? Ask about the CR Brewing Company's custom brewing options to give your big day that personalized touch that your guests will never forget. Visit craneroom.com to see their full menu, or call in your takeout order now at 724-656-1553. The Crane Room Grill and CR Brewing Company, a winning combination. We got Don Rebel, the best seat in the house. He gets to be right next to Coach Blundo courtside here at the Nika High Fieldhouse, and that's a show in and of itself.
Yeah, I went over, tapped him on the shoulder, and he said, I don't get up for anybody when I'm sitting on my bench, but I'll get up for you. He's as class of an act as they come, and we're anxious to get going here. The starting lineup's being announced to another big crowd here at the Nika High Fieldhouse. James Dotson, you have the starters for Tom Koval's Royals and Ralph Blundo's Canes.
I do. Our starting lineups tonight are brought to you by the Red Zone. Remember, Spirit Sales can help raise big money for your organization. Fill out a form, and the Red Zone does the rest. Visit them online and say how you can score big at the Red Zone. 6'4" junior Honest Alongo, 5'9" senior Andreas McCullum, 5'10" senior Jay Smith. He was the big scorer against Alderdice. Le'Veon Gore, a 6'4" junior, and Jamarius Johnson, a 6'5" junior. So Alongo, McCullum, Smith, Gore, and Johnson, the starting 5 for the Erie Royals. And for the Newcastle Red Hurricane, it's the single sophomore, the 5'11" sophomore, Ralphie Blundo, averaging 9 points per contest. And the 4 seniors along with them. Nick Wallace, a 5'10" senior, averages 7 per game. Dejon Young, the 6'2" senior, he's at 13 points per game. Isaiah Boyce, just shy of 17 points per game. He's a 6' senior. And Jonathan Anderson, the team high 17.3 points per game. So it's Blundo, Wallace, Young, Boyce, and Anderson for the Canes.
Winner of this game back in action Wednesday in the second round of the PIAA playoffs. 5 rounds total. They'll play the winner of the Downingtown West Waynesboro game going on later on this Saturday.
Erie's going to be wearing their road purple uniforms. Like the colors here. Very Vikings-like. Purple with black numbers and the bright yellow outline. Canes in their traditional home whites with the red numbers and Nika High in script across the chest.
Dark numbers, dark uniforms. Soon to be illegal.
I was going to say, is that starting next year?
Yeah, I think so. And we couldn't be more happier.
Yes.
Canes moving right to left. Royals win the toss. And McCullum will set up the offense. Canes man-to-man. And a turnover. Newcastle forcing the turnover with the basketball.
Yeah, deflected pass and ended up being stolen away by Dejon Young.
Quick passes, leads to an effort underneath by Young on the reverse up and in.
Yeah, good baseline screen right across the paint and a good find from Anderson. He averages 7 assists per game, got another one there.
McCullum quickly up the floor, stops, pops, and delivers. And we're tied at 2.
Yeah, nice hesitation move to get some space and then pulled up from 10 feet.
Anderson forecourt with speed down the right lane. Kick out 3, Boyce. Rim high, no good. Rebound by Erie. Double team in the backcourt, but Olongo able to get it over to Smith. Jay Smith down the right lane. His reverse is up and in.
Yeah, good job to switch the hands on the way up there, too. Went from the right hand to the left hand to get that layup.
4-2 Royals. Anderson drives, stops, floater off the window and in.
That's a play that he began when he was a freshman at like 5'6", 5'7", having to float it up over taller defenders. Now at 5'10" with the hair, still has to float it over to 6'4", 6'5" guys.
Touches everything, right?
He's shown plenty of it, that's for sure.
It's McCullum, hands it off to Orlango. Back to McCullum for 3, no good. Easy rebound, Boyce for Newcastle.
And he's going to start the break. Wallace waiting for it already down the court.
Boyce swings it to Anderson. Now left side, it's Blundo. Back to Anderson on the wing. Dribbles right, brings it back left. Now they get it to Boyce on the right side of the floor. Blundo nowhere to go. Looks for help, finds it in Wallace. Wallace left-hand dribble in the paint. Nice dish underneath. Young had nowhere to go. Ball knocked away. Lead for Erie. Up the floor, it's Gore. Gore was too far underneath the hoop. Gets it to Smith, who brings it out for a moment. Now pulls up jumper, missed everything. Easy rebound, tipping, good for for Le'Veon Gore. Putting the Royals back up 2. Collision between Canes, turnover. It's Smith down the floor. Layup good, and the foul.
Yeah, back-to-back turnovers for Newcastle, and just a little bit of frustration there right now of people not knowing exactly what to do. And on the previous play, when Dejon Young lost it under the hoop, I think that's when Coach Blunder would have rather seen Nicky Wallace go up with it the whole way. Maybe a little too unselfish after he got around one defender.
Free throw good by the senior Jay Smith. Erie enjoys their biggest lead at 9-4.
And he's got 5 of the 9 now, does Jay Smith.
Anderson guarded by Smith, who is going to pick up the hand check foul.
First foul of the game against either team, and that's when he's just reaching in and basically kept the hands on him for too long. Our officials, by the way, are Jim Ricchini, Chris Garrettero, and Tony Suttle.
Anderson to Wallace. Right wing Young. Boyce 3. Good.
And that's just in the flow of the motion offense, and one of the few times in the last 2 games we've seen Boyce be set and ready to shoot with some space.
9-7. Erie on top. 4:44 left first quarter. Olongo drives right baseline. Nicely done as he hit the brakes and hits.
Yeah, hit the brakes. That's that's a perfect way to put it. He stopped on a dime.
Blundo. Running right-hander. Up and in off the window.
Yeah, we talk about the three-point shooting of Ralphie Blundo. Nice drive and high off the window. Very Anderson-esque.
Long three by Gore. No good. That was way downtown. Anderson has the ball poked away. Now they're going to go over and back. Good defense by Honest Olengo, the 6'4" junior.
Yeah, poked it away, and then Anderson grabbed it, and then Olengo just kind of used his body and make sure the only place Anderson could go was back over the touchline. Third Newcastle turnover here in the opening 4 minutes.
11-9 Royals nearing the midway point, quarter number 1. McCullum to Olengo way outside, and he steps on the sideline. Newcastle forces the turnover.
So we're going to have a timeout, or a media timeout here in the first quarter here, Don, but 11-9 Erie with the lead. Step aside, back in a moment.
Don't get left out to dry. Call the Penn Ohio Bottled Water Company for the fastest and most efficient bottled water delivery service in the area. Penn Ohio offers bottled water ranging from 16.9-ounce bottles to 5-gallon jugs, perfect for your next event or office water cooler system. Also, don't forget to ask about their custom labeling options. Visit PennOhioBottledWater.com for more information and to get a quote on their delivery services. Whether it's at home, in the office, or on the sidelines, Penn Ohio has you covered.
Wherever you're going, Axe can get you there. The bowling alley, beauty salon, and even the library. Axe can get you there safely. The grocery store, the pharmacy, and the bank. Axe can get you there comfortably. Going to work, visiting a friend, or just to relax at the park. Axe can get you there affordably. Axe is here to get you there safely, comfortably, and affordably. Choose Axe as your driving service and give us a call to schedule a ride.
James Dotson carrying all the power.
Let's not go that far. Carrying a lot of equipment, I'll say that much.
What a job James has done in setting up this network over the recent years. And proud to bring you Newcastle basketball this afternoon. Steal by Erie, theft by Jay Smith. Goes to McCullum. Underneath Olengo, right blocks, turnaround, too hard, no good. Rebound Anderson for Newcastle. Anderson behind the back dribble, up the floor, leading the break. Pass a little too hard for Young, kick out, points for 3.
That's just recognition of knowing where your teammates are, because a bounce pass went through Young's hands. He didn't panic, knew exactly where his outlet would be, as Boyce just hit now his 56th three-pointer of the year.
The Canes on top, 12-11. Olengo bounces one corner. It's Mims. Wallace all over him. Now it's Gore on the drive, dump off, nowhere to go for McCullum. Gore, and they'll reset. Good defense by Newcastle.
Yeah, and that gets the crowd excited behind us. The Caniacs really excited with the defense from Wallace. And Blundo's going to get a foul. He can't believe it. He thought he got all ball to knock it away, but that's going to be the first foul against the Canes.
Ralph got an explanation he seemed satisfied with. Newcastle caught off guard on the lob in. Jay Smith, he had two Canes there who didn't know the ball was coming to him, and Smith puts it up and in.
Yeah, quick inbounds pass. For as soon as the whistle was blown, it was already in Smith's hands.
Anderson almost lost that pivot foot. Was able to hold on and hit the short shot in the paint.
He's just developed over these 4 years to be able to maintain that as he kind of lost the ball and got it back.
McCullum forecourt. Pass a little too hard for Gore, who was standing right next to him. Anderson back for Newcastle. Shot up and in, and he is fouled.
And that's the other thing he does so well. 5'9", but he plays like a 6'3" guy in terms of being able to absorb contact and maintain his balance to put it up and in. By the way, we got a final score across town at the Covelli Fieldhouse. Union defeats Clarion 47-9. The other game going on today is the Neshannock boys traveling to Oil City.
Free throw good for Anderson. Adrian Tate checks in for Erie. Newcastle comes with pressure. A long go to Mims. They get it in the forecourt to McCullum. Launches a three. May have rushed that one. No good. Missed everything.
Yeah, kind of a step back falling away, and that's why everything was short.
Anderson quickly up the floor for the Canes. Corner to Boyce. Now they get it to Blundo right side. Left-hand dribble all the way to the hoop. His shot rejected by Olongo. Now the long pass for Mims, stolen by Boyce.
Yeah, good hustle back by Boyce to knock it away. Olongo able to get the block on Blundo because he went up with the right hand instead of the left.
Anderson, great no-look dish to Young, who missed the bunny.
How's that for a way to have your first missed shot of the game? Second missed shot officially for Newcastle. They were 7 of 8 before that one.
Boy, well done by Anderson to set that one up. Mims, hand off to Smith. Right hand down the lane, good, off the window.
Jay Smith, he looks like Jonathan Anderson, still in style of play. He's 5'10", Anderson's 5'9". They both can get to the lane, hang in the air at will, and good soft touch off of the glass on that one.
Boyce, quick pass from Blundo, reverse up and in. 19-15 Newcastle. Shake and bake, McCullum will pull it back out. Now dribble with the left hand, runner with the right hand, no good. Rebound Boyce. Canes holding their own on the glass.
Yeah, they certainly are. Rebounds right now, dead even 4-4. The shooting percentage off the chart right now. Royals are about 58%. Newcastle over 70% right now in the first quarter.
Which has 20 seconds left. Canes could hold for one. Anderson. Way outside now at 10. Oh, and a 5-second violation with 7 seconds left.
And that's all just about which official is going to allow how much space, because you saw guys at the Peterson Event Center who were twice as close as what that defender was, and they weren't getting any 5-second counts, and that one was being given.
So now Erie a chance to end this first quarter on a high note. Young shot rejected out of bounds by Nick Wallace.
He's a fan favorite for a reason, Don, and that's one right there. He plays defense so well, does a lot of little things. Great clean block to end the quarter with a 19-15 Newcastle lead.
Canes by 4, end of 1, here on Lawrence County SportsNet.
I think the key to any attorney-client relationship is trust. My father told me a long time ago, the definition of personal integrity is really simple. Do what you say you're going to do. At LGKG, we've been doing that for over 80 years.
Whether you're hosting a big party, it's family dinner night, or you just need a place to go and watch the big game, the Crane Room Grill is the place to be. Need that something special for your upcoming event? Ask about the CR Brewing Company's custom brewing options to give your big day that personalized touch that your guests will never forget. Visit craneroom.com to see their full menu, or call in your takeout order now at 724-656-1553. The Crane Room Grill and CR Brewing Company, a winning combination.
Back at Newcastle, getting ready for the second quarter to begin. Newcastle 19, Erie 15. Erie cheerleaders out there entertaining between quarters in their green. Long three, good.
See, but that's where he was shooting from the Peterson Event Center, but those were all falling away. This time from almost NBA range, but he steps into it, knocks his third three-pointer down here in the first half.
Canes by 7. Jamarius Johnson, he's been quiet. 6'5" junior. Gives it off to McCullum outside. McCullum lobs it into Johnson. Double team. Johnson forces his way up, off the glass and in.
Well, you just said he's been quiet, and he makes a big noise there, using that 6'5" frame to his advantage to get some space. And again, soft touch at the rim.
Anderson drive. Nicely done. Up and in as he had Adrian Tate falling backwards.
9 points for Anderson. It's just so impressive how he gets into the lane.
McCullum to Brewington. That's Cello Brewington. drives, left hand shot, no good. Rebound Newcastle, up the floor, it's Blundo, layup, no.
Asking for a foul, thought he got hit on the arm as he went up. As coming from behind all the way back was McCullum.
Nicely done by McCullum to get back, and it eventually leads to a 3 by Adrian Tate. Pulls the Royals to within 4. 6:15 left first half. 3, good.
And that's one Ralphie Blundo was ready for, and you knew even before he shot it that it was in. He was upset after that last one, didn't get a foul called. You can see the anger in his eyes as he shot that one up.
McCullum hits the brakes. Kicks it out, right side. Tate nowhere to go. Back to McCullum. 3 from the corner. Off the side of the backboard, no good. But the ball comes to Brewington.
Jamarius Johnson begging for it down on the block, and he's just not getting it.
Long 3, launched and hit. Jaheim Mims.
Pink shoes give him some superpower.
My goodness. 27-23. Good fake by Blundo. Drives in, scoop shot, no good.
Yeah, good pump fake, but then not a wise shot going in amongst the trees, trying to do a little too much to go and scoop shot around him.
Drive, reverse, no good. Missed by Tate.
Nick Wallace is asking for a break. We haven't seen any subs for Newcastle so far. Erie's gone about 8 or 9 deep so far.
Blundo, right side, Wallace 3. Back of the rim, no good. Rebound, Tate. Stepped on the baseline. It'll be Newcastle basketball.
That's a break. I thought they were going to get Ralphie Blundo for his second foul. We're going to see our first sub coming in for Newcastle now, though, and Nate McKnight to give Wallace a quick breather.
Only 2 fouls called against both Newcastle and Erie. They tried to get the Royals Olango back in, but not in time. 3 by Anderson. Off the inbound, no good. And a foul right off the get-go, whistled against Nate McKnight.
So, yep, his first, now team's third.
Canes come with pressure. Inbound deflected, almost picked off, but comes right into the hands of Jay Smith. Gratuitous bounce for Erie. Smith underneath, Johnson turnaround, too hard off the window, no good. Offensive rebound by Olango. Kick out to Brewington, drive, no, but a foul.
And I think that one will be on Ralphie Blundo. They got the switch they wanted on the screen and roll, and you had Jamarius Johnson having to be guarded by Anderson. Couldn't get the shot to go, but an offensive rebound leads to Blundo's second foul at the 4:37 mark.
Boyce almost got that inbound steal. Brewington to Mims, launches a 3 and hits.
Mims, sharpshooter, back-to-back threes for him, cuts the lead down to 1, 27-26, midway through the second.
4:20 left, Anderson, big burst of speed, but his shot blocked away by Johnson.
And that time, the bigs down on the block going straight up and down, great defensive position. It's the point of emphasis in college, the defensive players going straight up and down. He did perfectly, but also a clean swat with it.
Le'Veon Gore back in for Erie. Inbound, McKnight almost lost his pivot.
I think he got away with it because he kind of lost the ball at the same time.
And now ball knocked into the backcourt by Erie, but kept alive. Nicely done by Anderson. Great hustle for Newcastle. Boyce now 3, off the rim, no good. Near spectacular rebound by Young.
It was, except he was falling back to his backside, tried to one-hand grab it and just couldn't corral it.
Shot by Mims, good. Stopped right on the right elbow and hits. Jaheim Mims off the Erie bench with some production.
8-0 run, and I think it's all been Jaheim Mims. Gives Erie the lead back, 28-27.
Blundo for 3, Canes back up 2.
Already 6 lean changes in this game. Big answer from Ralphie Blundo. He's got 8 now.
Good action from the field house. Drive, shot, good. No offensive foul, a charge called against Jay Smith.
And how big is that, too? Because that was Ralphie Blundo drawing the charge. He's the one who is with 2 fouls. It's either his 3rd foul or an offensive foul, and they do get the Medora Bonner Law change in possession as we go to immediate timeout with a 30-28 Newcastle lead. That's a big play, Don.
Oh, no doubt. But I thought it was the right call. Ralphie had his feet set, takes the charge. It'll be Newcastle basketball after the timeout. 30-28, Canes lead the Royals on Lawrence County SportsNet.
At LCAP Early Learning Centers, our kids are superheroes with extraordinary abilities to explore and learn. All our programs are filled with amazing children, but we need help. We're hiring group supervisors, assistant group supervisors, aides, and many other support positions. If you love to work with children as young as 6 weeks old, then you could be a superhero too. Help empower young minds in Lawrence County. Apply today at lcap.org.
Don Rebel and the king of multitaskers, James Dotson. You got like 20 little pads and computers set up everywhere.
You should have seen me teaching during the pandemic, Don. That's all I can say. Wanted to go back to that charge, though, real quick, because if that's a college game, that's an automatic block because Ralphie would have definitely been in the restricted area. A lot of times I think you see high school officials kind of put their own imaginary restricted area when they're making those calls. Glad to see that one was not, because that's not a rule in high school.
Well, a lot of these officials, remember, do both college and high school. Some of the better ones. Pass intended for Dejon Young, picked off by Erie. Up the floor, stopping shot, no good by Gore. Rebound by Young. Long outlet, Blundo, 2-on-1. Bounce past Wallace, has to hit the brakes.
Yeah, good hustle back by a couple of Erie players to take away that 2-on-1.
Anderson down the heart of the paint, his runner no good. Olango, the rebound, he brings it up the floor himself. Olango down the left lane. Shot, blocked, but a foul, and Blundo comes up limping.
Now he's going to go to the bench. He can't even put any weight on it now. He's going to have to go to the bench with the 3 fouls as well as now the ankle or...
Looks like maybe knee.
And Newcastle bench asking for a held ball, but official and faculty saying no, got the arm on the way up. Not going to get a held ball call on that, so 2 free throws coming.
Back of the rim, no good by Honest Olango, 6'4" junior. Second shot, back of the rim, no good. Offensive rebound, put back, no by Gore. Wallace all the way, looked like he was going to go the distance, and he stops. Kick out to Young, back to Wallace, and he'll reset.
Yeah, it's a couple times I think Wallace could have taken a short floater in the paint, just hasn't done so.
Anderson, good dump underneath, but McKnight didn't like the situation with a lot of purple jerseys, tried to go underneath the hoop and is called for a travel.
Yeah, not sure, tough from our angle. I think he may have been a little bit too far underneath the hoop to get any sort of shot off, tried to go reverse and then ends up traveling. 7th Newcastle turnover, got 5 turnovers unofficially right now against Erie.
Erie working it around the perimeter. It's Olango, way outside. Now Mims. He's had a hot hand. It's hard to blame him, but he was out by half court when he launched that one. Now big block by Gore the other way. Here comes Erie back. Turnaround shot. McCullum around the rim and in.
High floater, fade away. I mean, that was like a Dirk Nowitzki shot if Dirk Nowitzki was only 5'10". By the way, that Mims shot from half court, I think it was actually supposed to be a pass, like trying to go on an alley-oop to get it to Jamarius Johnson. It just was such a bad pass that it almost went in the hoop. Tied at 30 with 1:20 left.
Young. Now it's Boyce. Royals have done a nice job keeping Boyce in check. Anderson drives. the paint. Had more room than he thought. Put it up and missed. Fights for the rebound, though. Now his pass picked off. Look out. Here comes Alongo by himself. Lays it up and in.
Coach Blundo asking for a moving screen coming back because it was basically a 2-on-none, and the second player just basically kept weaving around to be like a block in NASCAR.
You had to get that NASCAR reference in there, didn't you?
If I want to talk about how fast Newcastle is, then I'll talk about IndyCar.
3 by Anderson, no good. As we hit a half-minute left here in the opening quarter, Erie with the basketball leading by 2. Mims, and it looks like the Royals may be content to hold for 1 as they spread the floor. Gore. It's Anderson with the theft. Layup, good.
Oh, that's huge because there was a 12-3 Erie run until that, and another steal.
Got to shoot it at the buzzer. Anderson, good.
So a steal from Anderson. He gets the layup. Boyce steals the inbound pass. They get it to Wallace, who kicks it back out to Anderson for a 3. That's a 5-point swing at the end of the first half. You want to talk about a nomination for a Maley Chiropractic play of the game. I'm not sure you're going to find a better sequence right there. That last 5 seconds, Newcastle goes from a 2-point deficit to a 3-point lead into the locker room. 35-32, wow.
2-point deficit with Erie holding for 1. What a sequence and a strong finish for the hosts. As we are done with the first half, it's Newcastle 35, Erie 32. You're listening to the PIAA State Playoffs, The Road to Hershey. Round 1 on Lawrence County SportsNet.
When injuries get you sidelined, don't trust just anyone to get you back on the field. Visit Health in Motion Physical Therapy in Shenango Township. They want to get you back to the top of your game as quickly as possible with certified orthopedic and manual therapies. At Health in Motion, you receive quality one-on-one time with a board-certified physical therapist. Get the next generation of physical therapy to help in your recovery. Health in Motion is the first PT clinic in Western Pennsylvania to use the Nuvie, the neurobioelectric stimulator, in their therapies. Their technologies can reduce your time on the sideline from 3 or 4 weeks to just 3 or 4 days. Don't wait for months to see improvement. Notice a difference after your first visit to Health in Motion, keeping you moving.
When the high school season heats up, make sure you have the best gear to support your school. Head to the Red Zone on Wilmington Road in the Shannock for all your county sporting apparel needs. From sporting goods to custom apparel to embroidery and more, the Red Zone has it all. Quality gear for all 8 schools in the County of Champions. Stop by and enter the Red Zone or visit them online at theredzonesports.com. Score big at the Red Zone.
Works in Progress Painting wishes a successful and satisfying season to all Lawrence County sports teams and athletes. Work hard and bring honor to your team in how you play. Joe Wright and his family have been providing painting, window cleaning, and other property services for homeowners and businesses in the Lawrence County area for over 10 years. Their goal on every project is to provide a meaningful service that honors their customer, God, and their family, and to have fun while doing it. Works in Progress is now booking interior painting and related projects for the winter season. Call Joe today, 724-714-4294, to discuss your next project.
Trib Live has a little something for everyone. Sports from high school to the pros. News from across the street and around the world. Arts and entertainment. Lifestyles, opinion, weather, photo galleries, video. You can even find your next job, house, and car. So look alive, Pittsburgh, and get the news you want and information you need all in one place. TribLive.com. TribLive.com. News and more 24/7.
In need of a lawyer? Contact Medore Bonner Law, a boutique firm offering tailored legal services in over 120 years legal experience. County residents with strong family ties to the community, Jason Medore and Michael Bonner, established Medore Bonner Law to provide clients with legal expertise and personal attention. Guided by their professional staff, you can feel confident your rights will be protected. Call attorneys Jason Medore or Michael Bonner, or visit MedoreBonnerLaw.com for more information.
Castle Asphalt and Construction is driven to provide quality, cost-efficient pavement-related services to Western Pennsylvania. Every paving or construction service at Castle Asphalt begins with a thorough site inspection of the area to allow their team of professionals to become familiar with the unique conditions of your home or business. Once the site inspection is complete, Castle Asphalt provides you with a detailed plan of the design, cost, materials, and time of completion, so you know exactly what to expect during your construction. Visit castleasphalt.com to request a quote for your next project and make your dream design come to fruition.
What a pleasure to be alongside James Dotson. I'm Don Rebel back at Newcastle High School halftime. PIAA Class 6A first round state playoff game in a dandy brewing. Newcastle with a flourish. 5 straight points in the last 5 seconds of the first half, and they lead 35-32 over the District 10 champion Erie Royals. Boy, it's before we start talking about what a thrilling first half it was, it has been a while since the two of us had a chance to work together, has it not?
I was going to ask you if you knew what it was, because I had to look it up myself too to confirm.
It was a baseball game, wasn't it?
It was not. It was a basketball game, actually, just over 2 years ago, and it was a historic basketball game.
Oh boy!
It was a record-setting basketball game, and it was a last-minute change. Ringing any bells?
No, it's not.
Chartiers Valley. Chartiers Valley, when they set the state record for most consecutive victories, we got a call about 2 o'clock that their opponent that night had to cancel due to COVID outbreaks, and at the last second, Gateway was able to step in as a replacement opponent.
Wow.
And we knew it wasn't going to be much of a contest because Gateway, I think, had won like 3 games in the last 5 years or something along those lines, and obviously Char Valley had won like 60 straight at that point, but nevertheless, it was a game. We had the full crew out at Chartiers Valley. We had back-to-back games there because it was that game we did on a Monday night, and then the very next night, Newcastle came down to do the boys game, and you guys had the full crew with Trib down there for that.
Good memory.
I had to look it up, but once it did, then I kind of put it all together of the fun little run, and I thank you for inviting me down to that one. You said, hey, I thought you might be interested in finding history.
Well, I think the last I mentioned baseball, we did a game at Chippewa. Does that sound right?
Yeah, we did a couple games at Chippewa. That would have been later in that 2019 season, I think, for sure. I mean, always a lot of playoff baseball games there at Chippewa Park there at Blackhawk that we always end up working. It might have been a Shenango or a Laurel game a few times, and of course lots of playoff baseball games we get a chance to run into each other. If you come up to good old Bub Kirkwood Field up here, you'll always find some great action, and of course the invite is always going to be there coming up this spring as well when you want to get out of the house and go see some baseball games. When everyone else is rained out, you know there'll still be a game going over at Neshannock High School.
That's true. Great facility. Well, there are probably very few of our listeners that really care about our background together, so let's talk about this one. The flourish at the end, big for Newcastle, but pretty steady, back and forth. I mean, no major runs for either team, just enough to maybe give themselves a 2, maybe 3 possession lead, but then the other team always seem to have an answer.
Yeah, really, and how big, though, is it at the end? Because Erie is holding for the last shot. At that point, they were on a 12-3 run, actually. They had an 8-0 run, the 3-pointer from Blundo, and then back-to-back buckets after that for Erie. It was a 12-3 run, and they're holding for the final shot. And, just literally a pickpocket, just ripping it away there was Jonathan Anderson. Takes it coast to coast, and then the steal on the rebound, or after the made basket on the inbounds pass, leading to an Anderson 3 at the buzzer. I mean, that was just a incredible, strong finish to the half, and one that Newcastle really needed, because after that third foul against Ralphie Blundo, Don, they kind of they definitely flattened out. There was not a lot of offense, not a lot of flow whatsoever. And in fact, other than that Blundo 3-pointer at about the 3:20 mark, they hadn't hit a shot since 6:10 remaining in that second quarter. So they were going dry from the field that little spark is huge going into the locker room to get a little bit of momentum, especially when one of your 5 starters and one of only the 6 people that you've been seeing out there on the court goes down with 3 fouls and with the injury. Good to see he is out there taking shots, but you got to manage those minutes, I think, here in the third quarter playing with 3 fouls.
Indeed. Got the did you go over the numbers?
I did not officially. Let's do that. Jonathan Anderson with that has 14 to lead all scorers, 11 for Isaiah Boyce, 8 for Ralphie Blundo, and 2 for Dejon Young. He got the first 2 of the game. That's the total points for him. On the other side for the Erie Royals, Jay Smith with 9, all coming in the first quarter. Jaheim Mims with 8, all coming in the second quarter. 4 for McCollum, 3 for Tate, and 2 each for Alongo, Gore, and Johnson, which is kind of surprising because 6'5" Jamarius Johnson looks like he's getting positioned down low at will. They just haven't been really able to get it to him. And how about this for a number? Both teams, the exact same shooting, 14 out of 26 in that first half, but both teams shooting over 50% in the first 16 minutes of play.
That is impressive.
Big difference, though, I think you got to say, is shooting from beyond the arc. 3 of 7, pretty strong 3 of 7, honestly, for Erie, but it's 6 of 11 shooting from downtown for the Canes. 3 from Boyce, 2 from Blundo, and that 1 at the buzzer for Anderson. And that's your halftime score of Newcastle 35, Erie 32. That is your Castle Asphalt halftime show. Castle Asphalt and Construction, they know the importance of making a good first impression, no matter how elegant your home or office may be. Matching it with poor road surfaces can make your friends or potential clients regret making the trip. You can get your free estimate at castleasphalt.com. And hopefully the first impression of the Nika High Fieldhouse going well so far for Sir Don Rebel next to me.
What better way to spend a Saturday afternoon in mid-March? We're getting to mid-March. I guess it's still early March.
Yeah, we're coming up on the Ides of March, aren't we?
Erie begins the second half with the basketball, now going right to left. Olengo cut off. Excuse me, that was Gore. Gets it to Olengo. Lob underneath. Johnson on the blocks, misses. Everything done right there by the Royals except a Johnson finish.
And everything done right defensively by Newcastle, double teaming on the block.
3, no good by Blundo. Offensive rebound kept alive by Wallace. Anderson, Blundo. They swing it around the perimeter. Boyce for 3. No good. Rebound by McCollum. Long outlet, 2-on-1, but no. Gore lost the basketball. He slowed down and had the ball knocked away from behind. Anderson on the drive and floater up and in.
Yeah, call it a little cup of Joe from Jonathan Anderson. That little trademark jump stop floater.
37-32. Johnson way outside now for Erie. Give to McCollum, whose long 3 is no good.
He's 0 for 4 from downtown now, and 1 and done goes Erie.
Anderson again. Up the floor, gives it off to Young. Young lost it, but the bounce comes to Blundo. Young now to Anderson. They'll reset. Anderson on the left wing. Right hand kick out. Blundo for 3. No good. Looked good. We had a good angle. Wouldn't fall, and now a reach-in foul on Wallace.
Yeah, try to get the held ball, but a good job of turn away from him to make it be a foul by the Erie player getting the rebound. By the way, real quick, a couple score updates brought to you by the Crane Room. Neshannock trailing Oil City 34-23 in Class 3A action, and right now Laurel's Grant McKay going to the mat in Hershey on the 160-pound championship, looking for his second state championship in wrestling.
Good luck to all the district wrestlers still alive. In Hershey, good quick passes, sets up a lay-in by Jamarius Johnson, right blocks for Erie.
Yeah, cuts the lead down to 3. Newcastle had knocked the ball away 2 or 3 times on the possession, too, just couldn't grab it.
Wallace, dead center, top of the key. 3-pointer, no good.
Canes begin the second half 0 for 4 from beyond the arc.
And those shooting percentages that were lights out in the first half starting to come back to earth. Just inside the top of the key, Jay Smith delivers. And the Canes lead is 1.
Yeah, lead down to 1. We had 8 lead changes and 4 ties in that first half, too. It's been back and forth the entire game.
Ball knocked out of bounds by Jay Smith. He wanted that to be off a cane. Officials say nope.
Down to 5:07 remaining now in this third quarter. 7-point lead. That's the largest it's been for either team.
Anderson to Wallace. Dejon Young to Blundo. Thought about launching. Instead goes to Boyce, top of the key. Boyce right side. Wallace drives the baseline. Pass in the corner. Blundo, they'll just swing it back around the perimeter. Anderson now looking for penetration room, and it's picked off by Smith. Jay Smith down the right side, shot no good. Contact made, they say play on. Canes back on the other side. Young whistles a pass to Boyce.
And right now Erie just closing out on every pass going around the perimeter.
Good give and go. Anderson to Young. Back to Anderson. Layup good.
Yeah, just great recognition. As soon as Young got it, it was like a hot potato right back on the bounce pass as Anderson cut to the hoop. He's got 18.
Nearing the midway point of quarter number 3. 3-point lead for Newcastle. Johnson outside. Gives it off to Jay Smith. Right baseline. Jumper. Back of the rim. No good. Rebound. Everyone just sort of froze. Johnson tried to get it, but he was blocked out nicely by Wallace.
Yeah, great box out by Wallace, giving up 7 inches to Johnson, but still gets the position and is able to get that rebound.
Wallace 3, rim, no good. Rebound cleared by Gore for Erie.
Canes getting good looks, but they've not hit one from beyond the arc here in the second half.
McCullum hop step shot, no, but a floor foul. The bucket did go.
And they're going to get a foul before travel is what Newcastle fans want. They're not going to get it. It's going to be out of bounds. We're going to have a timeout on the court before. Dejon Young will pick up the foul. And we'll get our media timeout.
3:31 left, third quarter. Newcastle 39, Erie 36 here on Lawrence County SportsNet.
For 20 years, Melee Chiropractic has treated athletes of all ages to help them get safely back to the top of their game. Melee Chiropractic has 3 full-time doctors in their office, and all 3 are former area athletes who have had to battle injuries throughout their careers. They want to help you get safely back on your feet. But more importantly, help stop the injuries before they happen. Prehab before you rehab. Attention all high school student athletes. During your sports season, a $25 visit to the Melee Chiropractic office includes an adjustment and/or all therapies necessary. From the athletes of tomorrow to the weekend warriors and everything in between, let Melee Chiropractic keep you in the game.
Saturday afternoon state basketball. Lawrence County SportsNet, Don Rebel, James Dotson, the King of Kings, here in the Great White North.
I'll give a shout out to the rest of the fantastic crew. That's why we are the King of Kings up here in the northern part of WPIAA country, working with the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Got to give a shout out to Lee and Jay Moan. They were out at Union watching the Union girls do battle. Got to give a shout out to our social media coordinator / babysitter today, Miss Katie Walzer, watching the little one so we can be here at the field house.
Oh, thank you, Katie. After the media timeout, Erie with the basketball. Fake the long 3. McCullum goes left side. Mims, boy, he had a hot hand in the first half. Maybe cooling off as he missed everything on that shot.
Yeah, that one just looked like it even came out of the hand a little bit funky. Not sure if he rushed the shot or if he just wasn't certain about where he was around the perimeter, but that one, it missed badly. His pass attempt that was supposed to be an alley-oop was closer to going in than that one.
Boyce to Anderson. Finally tracks down the dribble as the ball was sort of escaping him toward half court. Anderson still with it underneath to Young, who is fouled. Looked like Mims will pick up the personal for Erie.
Since John Yerich is in the building, I got to give a shout out to him because I still find it funny Purple uniforms, but the officials have to say one-syllable colors. So Erie is called blue by the men in stripes.
I did not know that. As Sean Young misses.
So I learned that when I coached briefly, was an assistant coach for the Sharon girls. And when we wore our orange uniforms, they weren't allowed to say orange, even though that orange basically is one syllable. It really is orange, and they can't say it. It had to be red. So even though we're definitely orange, the officials always said red.
That's interesting. Second free throw good. Newcastle comes with pressure. Breaking the pressure is Jay Smith flying up the floor. His shot rejected by Boyce. Back the other way come the Canes. Wallace, Young, shot, no. Tip, good.
Young tapped it back in on the miss of his own shot, but how about Boyce at the other end? Not only a block, but a block that he basically pinned it off the glass.
Lead is 6 for the Canes, 42-36. Olango to Tate. Tate, right lane shot, no good. Rebound tip, no good. Nice effort by Mims. He just couldn't get it to fall. Up the floor, Anderson. Getting whacked by Tate, nothing called, and now a foul on the drive by Anderson.
Yeah, he's able to get around Tate at midcourt, and then Tate chasing him the entire way. And it should be they're going to discuss this because he definitely wasn't shooting. It was going for a pass, but I think they were saying it was changed to a pass instead of a shot because of the foul. And now they are saying, yeah, it was an official pass, so no shooting foul. Sometimes they'll give the player the benefit of the doubt if they change in midair due to the contact.
Boyce for three, away off the mark.
Yeah, you could tell that one came out of his hand, Funky. He just didn't get set right.
Long outlet. Boyce rejects the shot by Olango.
Another block coming all the way back.
Olango tracks down the loose ball in the corner. Forcing his way to the right blocks, and then the ball stolen by Wallace.
Wow, what defense, Nick Wallace. That gets the Canes to their feet. Ball knocked out of bounds right to us.
Anderson checking on a young lady, make sure she's all right.
Working hard at the scorer's table right next to us.
She was trying to get it. I was ducking.
Oh, you're going to let me catch it. I got it. I'll keep that in mind, Don.
I was headed south. So after all that, Canes with the basketball. Young inside, turnaround, up and in. Looks like the Canes trying to get the ball to Young a little more underneath.
He's had a couple of games where he would just absolutely explode in the second half after having a rough first half. I remember the first Central Catholic game here, scoreless in the first half. I think he finished with 12 in that game, all in the second half, and that's kind of what he does. When he gets on a hot streak, watch out.
Lead is 8. Three-pointer no good by McCollum as the Royals have gone bone dry offensively here in the third quarter. Boyce three, no good. Boy, that would have brought the place to its feet instead of foul on Wallace.
It is still a 7-0 Newcastle run as they've now held Erie scoreless for about 4.5 minutes of game time. 44-36 your score. And let's go back to after that second Boyce block, Olango, 6'4", just backing his way in. Honestly, he looked like Pickett for Penn State, just as the Illinois head coach called it, booty ball, just kind of backing his way in, and Wallace stayed with him the entire way and then just completely picked his pocket. That was one of the most incredible defensive plays I've ever seen, and he's going to force a turnover here, force the back door, and the pass goes out of bounds. Don, Nick Wallace doesn't get a lot of credit all the time. His numbers don't show up big on the score chart. He averages 7 per game, but it's those little things that have gotten him into the hearts of these Caniacs.
McCollum had Tate on that cutter to the hoop, but the pass awry. 40 seconds left. Lead is 8 for Newcastle. Anderson to Blundo. Out by half court. Anderson directing traffic.
They're trying to run the little triangle stall right now. It's trying to waste the last 40 seconds, now down to 20 seconds.
Blundo. Wallace. To Boyce. 10 seconds left. And Ralph Blundo calls timeout. This obviously a possession that means a lot.
Absolutely. Well, neither team has used any of their timeouts. I was just about to mention that neither team has used any of their timeouts yet in this game. But fact of the matter is that you can go right now. You can draw up a play. And tell you what, Ralph Blundo is one of the best at drawing up a play out of a timeout. We've seen it time and time again in our time back in the old WKST days and then now into the Lawrence County SportsNet days. Right out of a timeout, out of a quarter, out of any stoppage, you always have something new from the bag of tricks. And I do want to see the comparison of playbooks between Coach Blundo and Coach Grabowski of which one has the thicker playbook. But they have just something that they can draw up in a heartbeat, and their players go and execute it. And it's always fun to watch. And let's see what he draws up here with 10.4 on the clock, inbounding right at midcourt. Real quick, a score update in the first period. Grant McKay now up 5-0 in his state championship bout against a kid from Grove City.
WPIL versus District 10 there. WPIL versus District 10 here. Anderson's pass stolen away. Loose ball picked up by Boyce. Boyce to Anderson. Buzzer. No good. I'm not sure that would have counted anyway.
Nope, it was waved off on the far side as well, but that was nearly the same scenario that bit Newcastle at the end of the second quarter where a ball was turned over. Newcastle nearly turned it over right back and gave Erie a decent look at it, but able to get the ball back was Newcastle. Couldn't get the final shot off, but an 8-point lead for the Canes as we go to the fourth quarter here, Don.
Holding for one has not been a good idea.
No, it is not.
Yeah, as James said, we're headed to the fourth. Newcastle 44, Erie 36. State basketball action here on Lawrence County SportsNet.
Are you looking to make a difference? Well, here is your opportunity. Lawrence County Child and Youth Services is looking for compassionate foster parents now. If you are over the age of 21, in good health, and wanting to help a child in need, we're in need of you. Receive free training and compensation by becoming a foster parent. Call 724-658-2558 and let Bill, Brooklyn, and Heather get you started. Make a difference and become a foster parent today.
For more than 120 years, people have been relying upon Martindale-Hubbell's AV preeminent rating to select their attorneys. If you're involved in a workers' compensation situation, you should do the same. LGKG has been AV rated for over 40 years.
Don Rebel, James Dotson, only 13 points in the third quarter. 9 scored by Newcastle as they have extended their lead to 8. Great backdoor cutter, Boyce the finisher off the delicious pass by Dejon Young.
Now makes the 9-0 Canes run as Erie's gone cold here from the field.
Drive up and in, nicely done. Adrian Tate, who hesitated on the right blocks.
And as soon as you say that, both teams, after struggling shooting in the third quarter, come out hot in the fourth.
Anderson tried to force it into Young. Picked off. Tate back the other way. He out-raced his dribble and lost the basketball. Anderson, pass underneath, Boyce up and in.
Canes run the court so well. How about the quick catch and release on the shot?
McCullum. Tied up. Man, quick hands on really both ends of the floor defensively. McCullum, nice job to wrestle that basketball back, and he puts it up and in. That is a big hoop for Erie as they trail by 8.
By the way, that last bucket was Dejon Young.
Okay.
They fooled us all over here.
Young and Boyce were in the neighborhood, and we had an official in front of us. Now reach-in foul whistled against Jay Smith.
I mean, it doesn't help that they have basically the same hairstyle, the same way they shoot the ball. We're all looking at each other. Was that 2 or was it 5? Yeah, the 2 and 5 doesn't help either. Basically a mirror image of each other.
Boyce gets the inbound after the Erie floor foul. Underneath, Young, shot, good. Boyce hit the floor away from the play, but Young finishes underneath.
Told them apart that time for sure. And now Dejon Young in double figures. Young, Boyce, and Anderson all with double-digit point totals.
Young, most of his damage here in the second half, right?
That's right. He had 2 at the break.
3 launched right corner, no good. McCullum. Rebound by Young, getting it down on both ends of the floor.
Not McCullum's night. I got him at 0 for 6 from beyond the arc now there, Don.
Good playing, good defense, though, right now on Anderson. Anderson still with the dribble. Hop step, shot, no good. Rebound off a pair of Kane's hands out of bounds.
Yeah, nifty move first to get around McCollum because it was in his hip pocket there at midcourt and then floated in the air. One of the few times you don't see the shot fall in with the soft touch at the rim.
McCullum dribbles right to Smith, hands it off to him. Smith drives right lane, shot, forced up, no good.
Well, both teams shot 54% in the first half. Kane's still above 50%. Erie's down to 46% after that last miss. But right now, I'm going to credit a lot to the adjustments both teams have made defensively here in the second half.
Yep. One and done again for Erie, by the way, on that last possession. Blundo, great pass underneath. Boyce lays it up and in.
And right now, you're just finding players left open on the block as they're working the weave around the perimeter. You're forgetting about the guy sneaking back door.
Timeout. Tommy Koval wants to talk about it as his Erie Royals fall down by 12. 4:58 left in the fourth quarter. Newcastle 52, Erie 40 here on Lawrence County SportsNet.
Looking for a unique way to expand your business? Advertise on the Lawrence County SportsNet and be seen by thousands of viewers in the area and around the country on over 100 broadcasts each year. Visit lcsportsnet.com and click Advertise with LCSN.
Trib Live has a little something for everyone. Sports from high school to the pros. News from across the street and around the world. Arts and entertainment. Lifestyles. Opinion. Weather. Photo galleries. Video. You can even find your next job, house, and car. So look alive, Pittsburgh, and get the news you want and information you need all in one place. TribLive.com. TribLive.com. News and more 24/7.
That's the voice of Don Rebel, the voice of Trib Live High School Sports Network, and we get to steal him here today at the Nika High Fieldhouse here on the Lawrence County SportsNet.
Now I'm damaged goods.
No wonder you kept saying no to Shazi all those years. Hey, real quick score update. Neshannock has cut the Oil City lead down to 6, 46-40 early in the fourth quarter of that one. 52-40, Canes leading here, 5 minutes remaining.
Now Erie comes out running that weave around the perimeter. Jay Smith, long three, rim no good. Struggles for the Royals behind the arc continue. Stolen by from two. That was Tate taking Young's candy. Tate lays it up and in.
That's just about effort, staying with the play till the very end. Doesn't want it to be his last game of his junior season.
Anderson gets around Young. Shot, no good. Ball tipped up in the air, still loose. Finally, McCullum tracks it down. And here he comes flying up the floor for Erie. McCullum, good bounce pass, layup good.
And now it's Erie that's finding open bodies in the paint. Back-to-back buckets cuts the lead down to 8.
Mims with the bucket for Erie. Newcastle breaks the pressure. They come on a fast break. Blundo misses the bunny, but he's fouled and will shoot 2.
We've not seen many free throws attempted today from either team. Right now, Erie 1 of 3, Newcastle 2 of 3. It's been a really clean, tightly contested game. Officials have been consistent, allowing a lot of contact go, but I think a lot of it, too, you got to say, has been the players that have been playing just good quality basketball.
So 2 shots for the sophomore Blundo. First hits.
And one of the things about this Newcastle team we've seen over the last 10 years with Coach Blundo, 13 total years, maybe the one Achilles heel is the free throw shooting at times. This team's shooting just shy of 70% as a team on the season, by far the highest you've seen in the Ralph Blundo era.
Ralphie hits both. Canes coming with pressure. Long pass, Tate. Ooh, held on to the pivot. Fires up a 3 and he banks it in.
Yeah, thought he got a travel call, but he held the pivot just enough, and banks are open on Saturday afternoons here in Newcastle.
54-47, lead down to 7. Anderson looking for help. Right-hand dribble in the corner. Boyce for 3. He rimmed no good. Rebound. Skying up to get it was Le'Veon Gore for Erie. Back McCullum. Shot from 3. No good. His woes continue.
0 of 7 now beyond the arc. Newcastle 0 of 7 in the second half from beyond the arc.
Blundo rips a pass to Boyce, who puts it up and in.
Boyce now with 17, and he went down to the ground looking for a foul, but incidental contact after the play is what they call was. 9-point lead for the Canes.
3:05 left. Brick, no good by Tate. Now he can get away with throwing up a prayer once, not twice. As he missed that 3. Ball on the floor. Ralph Blundo, quick timeout as Young did a nice job. He had to go to his behind, his backside, to get that ball that was thrown behind him. And instead of risking a turnover, Ralph Blundo calls a quick timeout with 2:52 left.
So a 9-point advantage for the Canes. Don, coming up after the game, it's a tradition we've had on the Lawrence County SportsNet. We're going to have to come up with a LCAP Player of the Game award, as well as a Mailey Chiropractic Play of the Game award. I think we have a good idea what that Mailey Chiropractic Play of the Game is likely going to be. While we have a moment, give a shout out to our friends at Mailey Chiropractic, Dr. Mailey, Dr. Archer, Dr. Bowser. They're voted best of the best chiropractor in Lawrence County. And again, our powering sponsor, LCAP, the sponsor of our Player of the Game award. Both players will receive customized T-shirts for their respective awards here today, but we still got 2 minutes 52 seconds left before we come up with that award.
If the Canes win, do you usually get Ralphie on the post game, or?
Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It depends on how many other people have to go and interview him afterwards. But I know one thing.
Well, don't you have pool around here?
Put it this way. There's a Shawsey phrase for you. Put it this way.
Yeah.
The fact that Don Rebel is here, that's why I have the extra headset already out and ready.
Very good. I got to do a little writing after this, too. So.
All right.
Well, that depends on your perspective. Anderson for Newcastle. Strong game per usual. Kane swinging around the perimeter. Now it's underneath to Young. Young, shot, may have forced it with the left hand, no good.
Yeah, 9-point lead, don't need to rush any shots right now. You're down to 2:30 remaining.
Blundo with the steal after Olengo got caught up in the right blocks. Wallace gets it, and then Wallace is fouled.
Yeah, Orlando's going to pick up the foul as well. So that's, I believe it was Jay Smith who first drove in and ended up losing as he tried to pass it across the lane. The help defense coming across. Blundo reads it, gets the steal, and now we'll have our under 4 media timeout with 2:25 remaining. Let's step aside one more time here, Don. We'll wrap it up here on the Lawrence County SportsNet, powered by LCAP.
In need of a lawyer? Contact Medore Bonner Law, a boutique firm offering tailored legal services and over 120 years legal experience. County residents with strong family ties to the community, Jason Medore and Michael Bonner, established Medore Bonner Law to provide clients with legal expertise and personal attention. Guided by their professional staff, you can feel confident your rights will be protected. Call attorneys Jason Medore or Michael Bonner, or visit MedoreBonnerLaw.com for more information.
When the high school season heats up, make sure you have the best gear to support your school. Head to the Red Zone on Wilmington Road in the Shannock for all your county sporting apparel needs. From sporting goods to custom apparel to embroidery and more, the Red Zone has it all. Quality gear for all 8 schools in the County of Champions. Stop by and enter the Red Zone or visit them online at theredzonesports.com. Score big at the Red Zone.
And we have a state champion in Lawrence County. Grant McKay, a 5-0 victory for the 160-pound PIAA state championship for Class 2A. Congratulations, Grant McKay, his second state title.
Good stuff. Good stuff here, too. 2:15 left. Anderson with it for Newcastle. Canes up 9. Now again, playing keep away.
Running their motion.
Blundo almost lost it, gets it back. Anderson, look out. Avoids a double team with the left-hand dribble, and then he throws it away.
And one of the few times you don't see the two seniors on the same page. Boyce was trying to relocate into the corner to make it easier for Anderson, and Anderson was thinking he was going to stay put on the left wing, goes into the front row.
Young man over there saved his dad's popcorn. That should be an ice cream treat afterward, don't you think? Grab underneath on the pass to Gore.
Now going to get a clear out against Gore. As they're saying he grabbed and threw the defender out of the way.
Wow. Gore incredulous. And I don't know that I saw anything that would disagree with that. Gore comes over and leans his hanging head on Dejon Young.
That's a new one. I've not seen that before.
Forecourt now for the Canes with 1:35 left. Young off the bounce pass from Boyce. Kick out, leaner by Blundo, no good.
And right before he took that shot, Dad on the bench said pull it out. And I think that kind of affected his shot attempt, and they ended up going off the mark.
Mims, hot hand first half, tries to regain it. Shot from 3, no good.
And the smallest man on the court gets the rebound, Jonathan Anderson.
Blundo in the backcourt, double team, needs help. And again, Ralph Blundo will call time to save possession with 64 seconds left.
Well, gives us a chance to give a shout out to our friends at the Crane Room. Call ahead right now, reserve your seat for after the game, or place an order for takeout or curbside pickup. You can get dinner, homemade desserts, even a crowler to go. It's also a great place to write articles after a game there, Don Rebel.
Did you say crowler?
I did say a crowler to go.
Oh.
By the way, Neshannock down by 1 with just 4 minutes left now. So they've trailed that entire game against Oil City. Down 1 with 4 minutes are the Neshannock Lancers. Union girls already victorious. And I'm going to put you on the spot now. I already texted Chris Harlan to see if we could get an answer. There's all-time stats in terms of like most points and fewest points scored in boys state basketball playoffs. We don't see that for the girls' side. Would love to know what the record for fewest points allowed in a game, because Union only allowed 9 against Clarion in their victory here earlier today.
Yeah, I want to say that I've seen a state playoff game somewhat recently where a girls' team was held to 7 points. But you at this level, you're holding a district champion or runner-up, or even the third team out of a district, and single-digit points in a game. You are doing something very, very right.
That Union Lady Scots team has been impressive defensively all year.
Yes, they have.
You just got a chance to talk to Coach Nogay too, didn't you?
It was my pleasure having him on the Rebel Yell podcast recently as Newcastle again plays keep away, and finally Wallace fouled with 47 seconds left.
Yeah, that's just one thing that this Newcastle team has done so well this year especially, but all over the Ralph Blundo area, is to play keep away as well as they do down the stretch. And Nick Wallace will get, these are bonus free throws, so we get a chance to shout out our friends at Health in Motion Physical Therapy for all they do for us. Health in Motion Physical Therapy. Make sure you give them a call. Get you in within 48 hours.
Free throw good by Nick Wallace.
Yeah, Mike Mirko is a local graduate. He wants to make sure players limit their exposure to pain medication. Physical therapy is a powerful alternative.
Second shot good. 58-47. Newcastle, 40 seconds left. 3 launched, still no from McCullum.
0 of 8. Last touch by Newcastle as boys couldn't quite keep it in on the end line, but up by 11 with 36 seconds left. It looks like it will be a Newcastle survive in advance, and we won't know who they play next, as Downingtown West and Waynesboro aren't scheduled to tip off for another hour.
Three launched, no good by Jay Smith. Foul on the rebound attempt against Newcastle. Nick Wallace?
Yeah, his third. Only the team's fourth. Again, it's been just such a well-played game. Surprised we even got to bonus free throws, except when Erie kind of had to try to get Newcastle to the line here in the last couple of minutes.
Three fired up and in by Jaheim Mims, and Erie calls time with 26 seconds left.
Mims with 3 threes now for Erie, 5 total for the Royals, but overall shooting beyond the arc just has not gone their way. McCullum 0 for 8. How about this? The rest of the team at 5 of 9.
Wow.
So you take out Andreas McCullum's a rough night for the 5'9 senior, and actually they're shooting pretty darn well from beyond the arc. Both these teams have just shot well overall. Newcastle at 49%. Erie has, it's looked like it's not been great shooting because of the second half, but I mean, you're still at 46% on the day for the Royals. And here's another interesting stat in the Ralph Blundo era. My numbers were correct. There were only 3 times in the last 6 years that Newcastle has not taken more shots than their opponent. Right now, they have taken 47 field goal attempts. Erie 48.
Wow. It's about to be tied. Here comes Boyce, breakaway, layup, good.
Wasn't sure that was going to happen if they were going to foul, but Boyce out in front gets the easy lay-in.
Smith, 15 seconds left. Long three, Mims. Rim no good. Rebound tipped, comes to Jay Smith. He'll launch a three, no good. Rebound off the leg of Le'Veon Gore. Out of bounds with 5 seconds left before Newcastle advances. Erie will pull off. Well, now Mims will get the basketball. Will they count it? No, it didn't go anyway. Mims took the basketball away, but it doesn't matter. Newcastle, runners-up in the WPIAL, win and advance to round 2 of the PIAA state playoffs by eliminating the District 10 champions. Postgame show coming up. Final score, Newcastle 60, Erie 50. It's the road to Hershey, the PIAA playoffs, here on Lawrence County SportsNet and Trib HSSN.
For 20 years, Melee Chiropractic has treated athletes of all ages to help them get safely back to the top of their game. Melee Chiropractic has 3 full-time doctors in their office, and all 3 are former area athletes who have had to battle injuries throughout their careers. They want to help you get safely back on your feet. But more importantly, help stop the injuries before they happen. Prehab before you rehab. Attention all high school student athletes. During your sports season, a $25 visit to the Melee Chiropractic office includes an adjustment and or all therapies necessary. From the athletes of tomorrow to the weekend warriors and everything in between, let Melee Chiropractic keep you in the game.
Having a safe and healthy home is not something to play games with, especially if your home was built before 1978. You may be exposed to extremely harmful lead-based paint hazards. If you're concerned about lead in your home, don't roll the dice on your family's safety. LCAP's Healthy Homes Lead Hazard Reduction Program is here to help you win the battle. Your family's health and safety is the goal. Contact the Department of Healthy Homes today.
Works in Progress Painting wishes a successful and satisfying season to all Lawrence County sports teams and athletes. Work hard and bring honor to your team and how you play. Joe Wright and his family have been providing painting, window cleaning, and other property services for homeowners and businesses in the Lawrence County area for over 10 years. Their goal on every project is to provide a meaningful service that honors their customer, God, and their family, and to have fun while doing it. Works in Progress is now booking interior painting and related projects for the winter season. Call Joe today, 724-714-4294 to discuss your next project.
When injuries get you sidelined, don't trust just anyone to get you back on the field. Visit Health in Motion Physical Therapy in Shenango Township. They want to get you back to the top of your game as quickly as possible with certified orthopedic and manual therapies. At Health in Motion, you receive quality one-on-one time with a board-certified physical therapist. Get the next generation of physical therapy to help in your recovery. Health in Motion is the first PT clinic in Western Pennsylvania to use the Newbie, the neurobioelectric stimulator, in their therapies. Their technologies can reduce your time on the sideline from 3 or 4 weeks to just 3 or 4 days. Don't wait for months to see improvement. Notice a difference after your first visit to Health in Motion, keeping you moving.
Back at the Nika High Fieldhouse, Newcastle, the WPIAL runners-up in 6A boys basketball, Newcastle Red Hurricane, advancing once again to the second round as they knock off the Erie Royals by a score of 60-50. Defense, I think, in the second half is one of the keys, really, to this victory, James Dotson. The Royals held to 4 points in the third quarter. They did score 14 points in the final quarter, but 18 points in the second half.
Yeah.
From a team that had scored 32 in the first half.
Yeah, and that's basically been the Coach Blundo's system, is that you're holding teams to 10 points or fewer. That's their goal each quarter, 10 points per quarter. You don't do that anywhere close in the first 2 quarters, 15 and 17, but to come out in the second half and hold this high-scoring Erie team that averages 60 points per game, holding them to just 4 in that third quarter, very, very impressive for sure. And I think that's more the style of play that you need to have Newcastle playing in this state tournament to be successful down the road here, is to be playing more in these games that are being scored in the 40s and 50s rather than in the 60s or 70s. So with that in mind, the fact that they play a third quarter that's a score of 9-4, the 4 is impressive, and the fact that they're above that, even though it's just a 9-4 number, is actually really, really crucial, I think, to this team's success. And again, they take the momentum they got at the end of that first half. And I'm glad you said the word defense, because Nick Wallace isn't going to show up on the scorebook tonight, but he's going to be an honorary player of the game here just for what he did defensively all night long, especially a couple of plays where he's given up 7 or 8 inches against guys on the block. And not only is he playing good defense to alter his shot, but he's getting blocks and steals down low. He played a fantastic game.
Another aspect of this game that I thought was a definite feather in the cap of the Canes was another thing we talked about in the pregame was the rebounding. It was a tall Erie team. They can come out and they can intimidate you with 6'4" Alongo, 6'1" Tate, 6'4" Gore, 6'5" Johnson. And I thought Newcastle did a splendid job on the boards. It was usually one and done for Erie. Not too many second chance opportunities.
No, only 5 offensive rebounds all night long, actually, for Erie. You can say the same the other way, though, too. I mean, Erie held Newcastle just 3 offensive rebounds in the game. But, you know, when you shoot 50% from the field in a high school basketball game, you have a great chance to win that contest, and that's exactly what Newcastle did, 24-48 shooting. And believe it or not, they ended up being 0 of 7 from beyond the arc in the second half. And normally, if you say that to a Newcastle fan, you're saying, uh-oh, watch out. But they are able to weather the storm, and they got a lot of easy buckets down low with the good ball movement to counteract that, right,
well,
Don?
and I thought that and it would be interesting if we get a chance to talk to Ralph to sort of get his feeling. I thought that they made a concerted effort in the second half, and maybe because of the fact that they weren't as hot behind the arc in the second half as they were in the first half, but I thought they made a concerted effort to sort of try to hammer the ball underneath DeJean Young, get him more involved, and in the second half, there's no question he was more involved.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he gets 9 of his 11 points in the second half, and he worked it well with. He actually led the team with 5 assists tonight too, so he was actually getting great ball movement along with it down along the stretch. So great stuff for DeJean Young, and great chance now is we're gonna get a chance to talk with Coach Blundo here. Get Coach all set up. Coach, you hear us all right?
I can hear you.
All right.
Wow, what an honor to sit here and watch you in action, my man. You are fantastic.
I'm exhausted, Don. I'm exhausted. But
Let's talk about some of the things that James and I just talked about. We'll start with the defense. I thought your defense, especially in the third quarter, was really what turned the tide a little bit for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we outscored them 9-4, and that was the difference in the game. I felt like that, I'm not sure that Erie maybe at the end of the half might have bled some of their energy the way we ended the first half. Yeah. And they came out, and we were really amped up to defend well, and I thought we could test the shots, and then we rebounded the ball. But I thought the biggest part about that is that we were defending while we were missing shots on our end. We weren't allowing the fact that we weren't playing great offensively to start the second half to bleed our energy defensively. And that's an important thing when you're trying to win close games. Very important.
You mentioned the sequence. How important was it? They're holding the ball. They're up. They're holding the ball. You guys get to steal the bucket. You get another steal on the inbound, and Anderson at the buzzer for three. That is a 5-point swing in probably a span of 5 or 6 seconds.
6 seconds. It was enormous, and that's not enough. That's not anything I teach. They saw an opportunity in the half-court set while they were holding it because they cornered themselves to trap, and they did. That's instincts. That's just guys playing basketball. Get a steal, get a finish, get another steal, get a wide-open three, and it puts us in a way better position going into the half.
Another thing we were talking about, and you mentioned it, the rebounding. We talked about in the pregame. It's a pretty big Erie team. They got some size, but you guys held your own. One and done usually for the Royals throughout this game. I thought you guys handled yourselves well in the glass.
We did. I think maybe except for the last couple of minutes, they got a couple extra ones. But, you got 5 guys on the floor to play the majority of the night. The way we play and as hard as we play, I respect my guys for the fight that they put out. They're tiny. You know what I mean? We're tiny. We're not – our average height and weight, 5'11", 165. And they're out there fighting in 6A. It makes me proud as a coach.
Talk about, Nick Wallace doesn't show up on the scoreboard, but, he played one of the most fantastic defensive games you'll ever see. He's given up 6 or 7 inches every time down there, and he's getting blocks and steals against the big guys.
I don't know that I've ever coached a player that impacts winning quite like Nick Wallace. That's the best way I could put it. He's always the last guy moving. He's got a nose for the basketball. He plays with great energy. Tough kid. Makes big shots, too. He has made really big shots for us this year. But, like I said, I love coaching him. And I think the big thing when you got a group of seniors like this, Dawn, is we get to spend – we know for sure we get to spend 3-4 more days together.
Yep. Win and survive, move on. You guys will be playing Wednesday. You have to wait to see who you'll be playing, Downingtown West or Waynesboro. Back to this one, I thought the second half you guys also made a more of a concerted effort to get the ball down to Dejan underneath, and I thought he had great success.
Yeah, and I think they changed their lineup a little bit, so we changed ways that we could attack him based on that. Some of it was in the post, and others were him finding space around the block after drives and getting dump-offs for finishes. But, Dejan, like I said, he's facing 6'5", 6'6", 230 pounds every single night, and he just keeps fighting. So, yeah, that adjustment was based a little bit more on what they were doing and what we maybe normally would have done.
Andreas McCullum, number 1 for Erie, 0 for 8 from behind the arc. But in all honesty, unless he really cranked it up and stepped back, he had a guy in his face almost every shot.
Yeah, and he's made deep ones on film. He has over 93s on the year. Every film we watch, in the first 3 games we watched, he had 14 threes. And they're playing good basketball teams, Erie, McDowell, Alderdice, State College, and they're playing good basketball teams, and he's making shots. But I felt like we smothered him and ran him off the line a little bit, and that helped because if he gets a clean look, it's going in.
You start 4 seniors. You guys had a nice little run here on the road to Hershey a year ago. How much this time of year does experience matter?
Well, I think experience and expectation matters. I think that, regardless of the circumstance, and they expect to end up there, whether we will or won't, I don't know that. But I just know that whatever there is to give, whatever they have in the tank, they will give. And that's the reason why year after year we're able to lay our heads down and say, okay, man, we did all we could. And sometimes it ends in championships, sometimes it isn't. But the gratification, if you're a coach thinking correctly, should be the same as long as they empty their tank.
Ralphie looked all right in the second half. Nothing from that leg injury.
Well, I just teased him. I said, I thought for a second you were going to be an amputee, that maybe they were going to take your leg. I mean, based on the way you responded to the injury. But I can say that because he's my son, I love him. But, yeah, I think I just want to hear at that moment, based on his response, that it's nothing structural.
Yeah.
He said no, his knee hit my knee. I rolled my eyes and just kept coaching.
He sold it well.
He sure
I mean,
did.
we may be talking about Ralphie Blundo come Oscar time in about 15 years.
Yeah, don't worry. Mom and Grandma will take care of him, make sure that they they'll give him the good, the kind loving that he needs. That's not coming from me.
Well, I'm so happy that James invited me up to get the chance to see you guys. I missed you guys, seeing you on Saturday at the Peterson Event Center, which you're probably happy about. But always a pleasure seeing you, and great to finally see the Canes live.
Well, I gotta tell you, I was, I'm sensitive the older I get. I was.
You're a sensitive guy.
Well, yeah, I was kind of, getting a little sense about you not coming up here. There's a few people here. There's a few people in Western PA that have done so much for Western Pennsylvania sports, and I think we know who they are, and you guys are definitely two of them. And we appreciate that, because the exposure our kids get and the opportunity they get because you guys are willing to do what you do, it means a lot. It really does.
Big time kudos to James,
yes.
what he's been able to do up here in Lawrence County.
Yep.
And a great time to do it, too, with all the success of the schools.
Well, one might say it is James. Maybe it's James. Maybe he's the catalyst here.
Let's reel it back a little bit here.
All right.
No, let's not go that far.
Right.
Hey, no joke, though. The year before we started this, all 8 schools in Lawrence County won at least one district or state championship that year. So, I mean, we're piggybacking off of that. No, we piggybacked off of the schools, not the other way around. But
go ahead.
I was just going to say, we even got a state champion today. Grant McKay won state champion wrestling today.
Yeah, it's unbelievable what's going on here in Lawrence County, and you credit great young coaches. I mean, this is a great community. People are doing things right around here, and that's the reason why the success is what it is, and for the right reasons.
And you're a big part of the success here. It continues on for a few more days. Wednesday, round 2 of the PIAA playoffs. Newcastle will be taking the court somewhere.
Who knows? Could be in Jersey. I mean, we're going to be. I know it's going to be. It's not going to be close. We know that. But whatever it is, the fact that I get to get in the bus with these guys and go somewhere and play,
awesome.
It means everything.
Call the Penguins for help if you need it.
Absolutely right.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Ralphie.
it, guys. Yep.
Ralph Blundo, head coach of the Newcastle Red Hurricane. They win 60-50 over the Erie Royals.
Let's get some quick numbers. Isaiah Boyce, 19 points, 18 for Jonathan Anderson, 11 for Dejon Young, and 10 for Ralphie Blundo to lead the scoring. 9 rebounds, by the way, for Young, and led the team also with 5 assists. Off the bench, Shaheem Mims, 13 points, including 3 threes. Jay Smith with 11, Adrian Tate with 10, McCullum with 6, Gore with 4, and 2 each for Alongo and Johnson also with 4 points. So I'm looking at that right there. Alongo, a 6'4" starter, only with 2 points. The 6'5" forward, Jamarius Johnson, only with 4. They really held their own against the bigs.
Well, I'll say one more thing, and then I'll let you wrap things up. Again, I just said it moments ago. You have taken the bull by the horns in developing this network. I'm so proud, that you got your feet wet with us and learned a lot, and you have taken it, and this thing is exploding up here. And again, it's a great time to do it with the success of the Lawrence County schools, and you're working hard. I know you got a lot of help, but you are working hard, and kudos to you. I thought you might need to tap out when you were running down all the sponsors, which again is a great testament to you and everyone else's hard work.
Oh, it's a testament to the entire community, Don. The fact that they're willing to go and help us out to get these games on the air, because they know how important this is to the community. And I got to thank you. You gave me a chance 7-8 years ago. I did 3 broadcasts with Mark Shaws and 1 with Lee Moan. And especially Lee. God, if you would have heard, oh, you did a broadcast with Lee, no, you're not getting on the air. But I don't have any broadcast major or anything like that. I'm just somebody who was interested in sports, did a couple of games with Shawzy, and came down, talked with you, and you gave me a football game week 1. I think it was still week 1. I don't think it was week 0 back then.
No.
I still remember it. It was with Josh Roundtree, South Fayette, after their state championship. So South Fayette, East Allegheny. So you made me drive almost 2 hours for that game, for my first one with Trib, with MSA back in the day at that point. But it all started with that, Don. You gave me a chance, and it's all been flourishing from there. So I can't thank you enough for that, and then of course for coming up here today. Well,
my pleasure. You were my right-hand man back in the day, and I'm glad that you're flying high on your own, pal.
Well, doing our best. I appreciate everything, Don. Before we do sign off, we'd have to give out our Maley Chiropractic Play of the Game Award. We mentioned Jonathan Anderson's his play at the end of the first half, the steal, the 2, and the 3 in the last 5 seconds. You will be able to get the audio feed of that by going to lcsportsnet.com. Click on Play of the Game at the top, and he will get his customized T-shirt courtesy of Maley Chiropractic. Congratulations, Jonathan Anderson, today's Maley Chiropractic Play of the Game. I need to get him his shirt before he takes off here. He keeps on disappearing on us. Also, our LCAP Player of the Game Award will go to Isaiah Boyce. He will also receive a customized T-shirt courtesy of the Red Zone in recognition of being tonight's Player of the Game. Congratulations, Isaiah Boyce, the LCAP Player of the Game. LCAP, our powering sponsor, they're changing lives. Your final score one last time, 60-50. Don, wrap us up, sir.
All right. Thanks to all the great folks here at Newcastle for their help in our broadcast. Will you be following the team Wednesday? No?
Depends on the site, in all honesty. We'll have to figure that out as we go along.
All right. So
We're hopeful. We're hopeful.
For James Dotson, I'm Don Rebel. We hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did. Final score, Newcastle 60, Erie 50.
Your voice for Lawrence County Sports.
The gold ball headed home to Newcastle.
This is the Lawrence County SportsNet.